If you guys want a chance to win this turbo K-swapped FRS, all you have to do is go to theboostedboys.com. Every $5 you spend on our site will get you an automatic entry to win this thing. It is no purchase necessary, and yeah, best of luck, boys. I'm sure it's gonna go to a good home. Be sure to get on it now because we're gonna try to get those orders out to you guys before Christmas. I'm sure one of you guys will be real excited to see that thing sitting under your Christmas tree at the end of this year.
Thing looks like a whole unit rolling in. Oh Lord.
We got another boat to add to the collection.
Oh my God.
First, the K-swap jet boat, and now, boys, we are going to be building ourselves an airboat. We've been in Florida for 2 years, and I think part of the Florida man tradition is to, you know, at least do something with an airboat. And this one is, you know, straight from the swamps. You can check it. Dude, this is genuine.
Lord.
Look at this thing. She ain't the most, you know, prestigious airboat out there.
Dang, dude, look at that sweet plywood.
Don't look at it too close, but she needs a bath. We have a lot of leaves in here. This thing has been sitting for a very long time, but we have a concept and we want to test it. We want to see if we could possibly K-swap an airboat. So we don't want to get, you know, the nicest airboat on the block to test this theory because we don't even know how it's going to go. So this is what we got here. This is our hoopty. This is our new project. You guys seem to love the jet boat content, and I've actually been wanting to do a K-swapped airboat way before we even did the jet boat. And we've been sitting on this thing for a minute, and we'll tell you guys why. It is finally just now for the first time being shown on the channel, and there's a big reason behind all that. But yeah, before we get into anything, we gotta at least get this thing cleaned out because there's so many leaves in it. At one point we had this parked back behind the shop and it filled up with rainwater and there were tadpoles living in this thing. She has been through it.
It had its own ecosystem going.
Dude, it was disgusting in there. It's still not that great. There's nothing too crazy about it. It's aluminum hull. You know, you've got this big old steering lever right here. This had a cable that went to the rudders back here. Obviously there's no engine on it anymore. It used to have, I believe, like a 350 small block on it. I think that's what the guys that delivered it here told me that was on there. And yeah, you know, there's a fuel cell on there still. We'll see what we can salvage. But this is our new project. And we're gonna see if we can't K-swap an airboat. K-swaps will not stop.
K-swap the world, let's go.
Oh, hey Larry. Got Larry hanging out on the airboat here. If you look at this side, we got our little control panel. And we got this little wood latch deal right here. Oh, there's a fire extinguisher in here. We're good to go if this thing burns down, but it looks like this is main power. The switch is seized up, doesn't work. That was probably the starter. Then there's a couple push and pull switches right here. Don't know what they do. And oh, yeah, that just broke off. So she's not in the best condition here, guys, but she's gonna be something.
It's like quite the waterproof design.
Oh yeah, you know that's watertight.
Yep. All the Larrys are hanging out on this thing.
Oh yeah, Larry's whole family's in there.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, boys, she ain't the prettiest, but it's gonna test the theory.
That's gonna be easier.
This is exactly how it's gonna look one day out on the lake going down. Every inch of it.
We gotta get her spotless here. This is the most pristine project we've ever had on the channel.
They're only gonna ever be as clean as they are today, so it's gotta be perfect.
Oh dude, that stuff's on there bad. That dirt ain't coming off. It's taking the paint off with it.
It's fine, it's aluminum.
Oh well, it'll send. The stringers look a little damaged down there, but we'll just ignore that. Hopefully she floats. It's a concept boat, okay?
It's a sinking boat. So we are rebuilding the Titanic, but we're starting after the crash.
Oh yeah, get all that mold off the seats.
Let's do this to the ball.
If you guys thought the boat was rough, the trailer ain't too much better. Every bit of this thing was definitely homemade. I think along with the boat, you can see they got this like oxyacetylene torched out plate right here where that hub's bolted up to. I mean, honestly, it's pretty impressive. I think every bit of it, like I said, seems to be homemade, pretty basic, little jank at the same time, but gets the job done. So we got the airboat as cleaned out as we could here. There's still some dirt here and there, but no big deal. She is
a lot better than it did.
Dude, she is
pretty
much brand new again. But we're gonna go ahead and try to lift this rigging out of here. They actually bolted it all in. The hull is aluminum and the rigging appears to be made out of mild steel, and they just bolted it to the aluminum stringers here. We got all the bolts pulled out of that, and we're going to try to pull all of this out of there as one assembly, so then we can pull this stuff into the shop and work on mounting the engine and stuff just to the rigging itself, not in the boat, because it's going to be really hard to work around having a whole boat. I think we're also going to try to maybe put this thing in the pool, make sure it doesn't have any major holes in it before we continue with this project, because
it's easy to fix.
Yeah, while we have access to everything here, we don't want to get it all together and then it just sink on us right away.
It's kind of questionable. They've got like fiberglass laid in the bottom of this thing.
Yeah, there's some fiberglass patches over the aluminum, like on that side. Stuff's chipping away. All I can say, guys, is this was the cheapest airboat on Marketplace for a reason. So it's what we're rolling with here.
This thing is definitely just proof of concept.
Yep.
Once it works great, we'll upgrade. But for now, she's gonna ride.
You want to just rest it on the edge. I can kind of probably. What you think, Larry? We're fixing up your airboat. So we just got the rigging out of there. It was a little bit of a fight because it was pretty bound up on these two stringers. Just got a couple pry bars back there, popped her off. Now that guy's sitting over there. Should we get the fan cage off too?
Whole cage out of here, and then this thing's gonna be super light. We can walk right over to the pool with it.
Yep, see if she floats.
Yep.
Time to see if this thing floats.
I don't have high hopes, but we'll see.
Just keep walking into the pool. Yeah. Drag it over the rock.
You did.
Perfect. Get on in there.
Any holes?
Not yet. I got you.
He's solid.
Honestly, surprised water is not entering yet. Worried about? Just have to fix this guy because this one's been dribbling pretty good.
Couple small leaks,
Not
but
too shabby.
honestly, not bad.
Expected a lot worse.
A lot better than what I thought.
Oh my god. You're gonna hit that! Oh!
Easy. Alright guys, we got the rigging off the airboat and we got it into the shop here. So we're gonna start mocking some things up and seeing what we need to do to get our K24 up into this thing. We have a fresh JDM K24A right here. This thing has been sitting for a long time here at the shop because I actually got this airboat, you know, maybe 5 or 6 months after I originally moved here, and this thing was supposed to happen long before we even got the jet boat, but we had some delays, and that was due to some custom parts we were waiting on for this K24 here. And that brings us to what is in this box right here. So this is the reason why it has been taking so long. I know a lot of you guys have seen this in the background of the videos. Some guys are like, is that an airboat back there? What are you guys hiding? So yeah, we've had it sitting back there, and it was because I was waiting on this part right here. So the story with what is in this box is I ordered this part and it got lost in shipping, and it took a while for the guy to make another batch of them, and it set me back a little over a year. But
I'm pretty sure we placed the order a week after I moved down here. and that's 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I ordered this so long ago. I was so pumped on doing a K-swapped airboat, and it just ended up taking freaking forever. But we're here now, and we finally have just about everything we need, depending on if this boat will float or not, to make it happen. So what we have in this box right here, boys, is a custom belt reduction drive specific for a K-series, and it is designed to spin a big old airboat prop.
Them freaking workout's been paying off, buddy. That's
Oh, yeah,
not a
dude.
light piece.
Dude, she is heavy. So a lot of it is, I think it's actually all cast aluminum, and then it looks like it's been machined. But yeah, this thing is really cool. It came all the way from Russia, so it took it a while to get here.
The
but we finally have
motherland.
it. Yeah, the motherland. And yeah, they built this thing pretty beefy, so it's pretty sweet. So let me kind of explain how this works here. So on the back of this, we got a custom flywheel. This is the same outer diameter as the K-series flywheel, so it fits the K-series starter, all that good stuff. This right here bolts to the K-series crankshaft, and then we have basically a drive shaft coupler inside of there, so it has some dampening to it. This isn't hard mounted, so it takes out a whole bunch of vibrations. So this bolts to the crankshaft, and then it bolts to the coupler, and then that guy goes to this gear right here, which then spins this with this big old belt we got on there. And this is a 2.75 to 1 reduction drive. So for every 2.75 rotations the crankshaft makes on the K-series, this spins 1 time. That's important because when you go to put a airboat prop on this thing, you can only spin the propellers a certain speed, or else the centrifugal forces become too much and they like explode and stuff that's not good. So when this engine is at 8,000 RPM, we will be spinning the propeller at 3,000 RPM, which is about where we want it to be. We're not airboat people, but that's what we have been kind of learning. There are other reduction ratios we can get, but that's what we went with, and we're gonna try it out there. We don't know if we're gonna end up turboing this thing or if it's gonna have enough power. We're just kind of experimenting. But the guy that I was talking to in Russia, there was a little bit of a language barrier, but he did speak some decent English. He said that they have some boats out there running 50, 60 mile an hour on the water with a Honda K-series. But granted, I don't know the weight of their boats or the setup or anything like that. But I figured, send me one of those units, we'll slap an airboat prop on there, we'll find a crappy airboat down here, and see what happens. So that's what we did. This is our custom drive, and we got our K24 over there. And now that we got the rigging off of the airboat, we got into the shop here just to make it easier to work on. We can use the lift to like hoist the engine up and see if we can't make it sit right here somewhere. We also don't have a prop yet. That's something else we have to figure out. We do have some airboat shops here that we've been talking to just to try to learn all of this stuff. But other than figuring out the prop and exactly where the engine should go, it looks like this should go together pretty easily. All you gotta do is get the engine mounted, get a fuel cell on there, plug in a harness, power everything up, and just run it as if it's on an engine stand and then hook up a throttle to it. So yeah, this is a first for us. We're gonna see if we can't K-swap this airboat. And we actually have these mounts right here that Hasport sent me a while back. And these are S2000 K-swap mounts. And we're gonna see if we can possibly repurpose these for the airboat here, because these just bolt on the side of the K-series. Don't know how it's gonna go, but we'll figure it out. This thing used to have a V8 in it, so I can't officially say we are K-swapping the airboat because it was a different engine, so now we're swapping in a K. So today we are K-swapping an airboat, boys. Let's get to it. So we just got the flywheel out of there, and like I said, I believe it is just a drive shaft coupler that they used to make that. And then this guy just slides onto that shaft right there, which turns that gear. But we have to take this stuff off so we can get this flywheel all bolted up to the K-series. And I found the hardware. It took me a while to find that stuff because I haven't touched any of this in quite some time. All right, guys, we got the belt drive all assembled on the K-series. We went ahead and put it on the lift and got it kind of mocked up here in the rigging. And dude, this thing is looking freaking sweet. And I don't know what the odds of this are. It's looking like we might have to drop it down a little bit, but this is the S2000 swap mount. They came from Hasport with no modifications. Look at this. It already had the right size gap right here for the mount to slide over the existing mount that was on there. And it actually lines it up pretty good, which is pretty crazy. The mount on this side though, definitely not gonna fit. Definitely need more room over there, but we were talking about possibly drilling a hole in this guy to scoot it over. But like I said, this thing might need to come down overall. Anyways, right now we are trying to figure out what we need to do for a prop. So we went ahead and got the cage back here, and we're gonna go ahead, kind of mock that up and see where everything's sitting, take some measurements, and go from there. All right, guys, we got the cage back on there. This thing is looking so freaking cool. Got off the phone with the Airboat people. We found out that we are probably going to need to lower the engine. That we found out regardless, because you know, we were hoping that these S2000 mounts would just happen to be perfect, but they're not. So we are going to have to drop this thing probably a good 5 or 6 inches. And after we got off the phone with some Airboat people with the amount of power we're going to try to run, we do want to put a turbo on this thing eventually. So we told them somewhere around 300 horsepower, nothing too crazy. We'll probably be running somewhere in the range of a 70 to 74 inch prop, because that is what our cage limits us to. And then from there we can change the pitch and the number of blades, all that kind of stuff. If it can just cruise around and have enough power to like go out and have a good time, that's all we want. It doesn't need to be a race boat. It is pretty unique in of itself.
Far from a race boat. So.
Yeah, it is very far.
Yep.
You guys saw the chassis we're working with here. She ain't the cleanest, but we're gonna go ahead and cut these guys down so we can drop the motor down a few inches and get the prop centered in the cage there where it needs to be, and just kind of go from there. All right, guys, so the engine is about where we need it to be. I had to end up cutting some more off of the rigging right here to drop the engine back down some, but I'm pretty happy with this. So similar to how we got the engine all mocked up in the jet boat, I just took some ratchet straps and kind of tweaked this around, get it upright, get it where we want it to be, make sure it's not twisted. So we got a couple ratchet straps on there holding her in position, and height-wise, we are looking pretty good. I measured from both ends of the cage, and we got the engine centered in the cage here. And then I did have to bring it down a couple more inches than we thought, but it's looking really good now. We took measurements to fit a 74-inch blade. That's probably as big as we could get inside of this cage here. But yeah, everything is looking good. We went ahead and made this gear upright with this one. So the engine is sitting perfectly straight up and down. It doesn't have the natural K-series tilt to it, but that shouldn't be an issue. We'll just run an extra quart of oil in this thing. It does make the mounts off of these guys a lot easier to work with now that those are flat and not at an angle. But that is about where it is all going to sit, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and start building up this side, try to get the engine somewhat mounted so it can stay in there on its own. You can see how close the crank pulley gets down there, but everything clears. I went ahead and cut this guy back some, and I'm going to take this 1-inch tube right here. We're gonna weld that guy in place like so. I know this ain't the prettiest fit up right there, but you know, the MIG welder will fill that right up. It's not like the rest of the boat is a masterpiece here. So that will get welded into place. That can tie into that guy right there. We'll build a mount off of that to go to the existing mount right here. And we'll probably also add another bar right here just to have some added support. I was thinking about running this all the way back to here, but we'll just add a extra one for support there, and that should be good to go. And then we were also talking about adding a front mount as well if needed, if the motor tries to tilt forward and back at all. But that is where we are sitting for right now, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and MIG this guy in and start building the mount for this side, and then we'll have to move on to the other side. It's a little more complicated because the mount doesn't line up as easily, but we'll make something work. So that's what that side's looking like right now. We still have to cut that down as well and then make something work out of that mount. So to make the mount work on the other side of the Airboat, I am going to have to modify this guy. The ears coming off of this are a little too long. The mount is gonna need to sit a little farther up in there. I could make a new mount, but it wouldn't be too bad just to repurpose this guy. So I'm gonna take the port band, lop those guys off, and we will drill a new hole through the side of it right here. And we're also gonna cut this section out, and we should be able to make this mount work for us. Moment of truth. Will she hold? Everything's just tacked together right now. I'm gonna go ahead and let the lift down, but it should be good to rest in place there. Oh yeah, guys, we are good to go. The engine is completely supported by the Airboat rigging, and she is officially K-swapped. Hell yes, dude, this is so sick. All right, guys, we got the K-series in our Airboat here, but before we get it fully burned into place, we wanna get a propeller mocked up on this thing because we're not 100% sure yet if we need to move the engine a little bit forward or back. I just got it in a pretty good spot, but if we needed to use an adapter or something like that, we might have to shift the engine. So we had to figure out what to do for a propeller because we're new to this. We have no idea where to get a propeller or how to even go about it. And back when I first got this boat, it's been about a year and a half now. This thing has been sitting in our yard. You guys have seen it in the background of the videos. One of our neighbors over here, his name is Brian, actually has an airboat as well. He saw the boat sitting in our yard from the road, and he stopped by one day. He said, hey, if you guys ever want to do some airboat stuff or have questions, hit me up. And we didn't talk to him too much after that. And then I finally got the belt drive for this. And then once we got the engine mocked up into the airboat, we hit up Brian. We're like, maybe he has a spare prop or something we can use for mock-up. And he had this guy right here in a shed that he said that he hasn't used for years. So he actually brought this over and he said, you guys are more than welcome to use this for mock-up, get it fired up, whatever. So huge shout out to Brian for stopping by with this prop. But it turns out this is not gonna be the prop we are going to use, because we have a pretty kind of cool story of the propeller that we're about to get. So the story with this is, you see these 3 blades right here, and then you see this billet flange right here, or this billet hub. The props go into this guy right here. This clamps them all together, and then you just rotate them, set your pitch, tighten it together, and that's how this works, right? The issue is that this is completely different from the flange we have right here. So if you look at that, there's no way that that is bolting up. Completely different. So we're like, how the heck are we going to adapt that to our flange? We have no idea what flange this is, and we got to figure something out. So our neighbor Brian told us that the company that makes these propellers, called Cincinnati, is actually local to us. And I looked them up, they're like 20 minutes away. And he said, maybe go down there and see if they have something where we can, make some adapter or just figure out a way to get this propeller to work on the boat here. So I ended up going down there, and right when I walked in, they go, hey, what's up, Kyle? And they're actually fans of the channel, and he saw the airboat in the background of a couple of our videos, and he's like, I was wondering what you guys were doing with that airboat back there. They're car guys, they know who we are, and it just shows how small the world can be sometimes. And we ended up getting a new propeller in the works for our airboat here that will be the proper propeller to fit our flange. So this is actually a Rotex style aircraft flange, and before I went there, we had no idea what we had. So I brought this flange with me and walked in the back, and they had some plates that went right onto it. They were the right bolt pattern and everything. And when I showed him what our neighbor gave us, he's like, yeah, that stuff's super old. It's like 20-year-old propeller that they did a long time ago. He's like, we got something way better for you guys. So long story short, we got ourselves a new blade for the airboat, and I'm about to go pick it up right now, and I'm super pumped. All right, guys, I just pulled up here at Cincinnati Propellers in the NSX to pick up our prop for the airboat. I just got the transmission back together for this thing recently, as you guys saw, and this is actually her first test drive on the new sequential. She is running beautifully. It's about a 20-minute drive. It's a nice day out, and we are here picking up a propeller for our K-swap airboat in our K-swap NSX. How's it going, man?
Good, man.
This is Terry over here at Cincinnati Propellers. And you're the one that came up and recognized me right when I walked into this place.
Watch you all the time. Watching the video before you came up just now.
Oh, hell yeah.
On the jet boat.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give the guys just a little tour of the place, if we could do a brief overview. So you guys do propellers for a lot of aircraft as well, not just airboats.
We do for light sport aircraft, the old biplanes. We make wood props. We make UAVs for unmanned air vehicles for the military. We do all kinds of stuff.
So that's kind of where they start off.
Yes. So he starts off taking that big bundle, and he'll go through and pick stuff out, and then he'll put panels together to make props. He puts it in a clamp carrier, and that thing is a beast right there. We didn't have the air before, and you have to use the pull on it. I pulled so hard on it one time trying to get it because it was so full, I snatched one of those things out and fell on my back.
Oh, dang.
It was not good. And once you get them glued, they'll cut them out on the bandsaw so they're the same. For the most part, that'll be a panel. And like some of that stuff like that's okay because it's gonna get cut out when it gets around the machine. So then they get planed down to a certain thickness, and then old school hand clamp.
Dang, look at that. So they just glue all the layers together and let it dry?
Let it dry. Then when it comes apart, it'll look like this basically. So that prop you saw up there is this prop after it's been ran on the machine. So, and that's what he's doing right now on this machine right here.
That's cool.
And then once it leaves there, the guys over there will actually use smoke shavers and smoke shave them down, get the angles in with actual template, flat side and round side to get the actual airfoil. Especially if it's like a certified prop for the FAA, it has to meet every spec on that sheet in that tolerance.
Has to be perfect.
and that's, it's a lot. Guys have been doing it for 20 plus years, most of us. So
Nice.
I've been here for 27. So all these little props over here are all for a drone for the military.
How many blades are on a drone? Is it a 4-blade or like
One?
Oh, just one.
It's
oh, so
one.
it's
It's one prop in the rear. They launch them off of aircraft carriers and they catch them.
Are they kind of like
on
the
aircraft carriers?
Yeah, they're the Delta Wing style drones where it's like a single wing prop in the back.
Right. And then so they every time they catch the plane, they break a prop,
Oh, so
which
I have
is
to
good
put
for business.
Yeah, it's good for you guys.
Yeah. So that's why we have so many, because they don't last.
All their CNC machines back here, cutting away. What's in here?
That's the painting. So they're painting wood props in here. He's painting them right now, getting them ready to go.
That is cool.
So they're wrapped in fiberglass for extra durability. A lot of the old wood props used to go on airboats, but nowadays they use them in chicken coops.
Oh,
So they put them on a motor with a belt box, and they blow the chickens so they don't lose weight when they go to sell them.
interesting.
When they lose weight, they lose money.
These are similar to what's on our prop for the boat, right?
Right, yeah. This is a race. We call them a race. It's lightened up more. The other ones are just a solid block. So, the guys, they want to go fast. You got to have the light stuff.
Yeah.
Especially on an airboat, it's more, that inertia, that snap. Snap gets you out the hole.
Yep. They want that prop to wind up quick.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of just like drag racing, on an airboat, when you're racing, whoever leaves first is who wins. We actually put the blades in there. We'll put the blades in here, and they go in this fixture, and it'll actually cut out all the edges with a tool, so it cleans it up to get all the plastic off of it. We used to hand do it. It saves us a lot of time now.
But the machine's a lot nicer than
A
doing it
lot
by
nicer.
hand.
Yeah. This is my area. This is all blades that are ready to be balanced and shipped out.
All the carbon blades. A lot of these are probably, they run these on a lot of aircraft too.
No,
Not just
most of these are
right?
airboats, but there is a few people that have ran big airboat blades on aircraft.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen some guys run like the big airboat props on like bush planes and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, there's one guy, I think his name's Mike, that has that. He's got actually.
Like Mike Patey.
Yeah, he's got
Probably
that
running
big
some airboat
four-blade
props
prop
on there.
it, yeah.
But then for the most part, these are airboat.
Yeah, these are
Specific.
all airboat props.
Oh, that is cool. Got some crazy patterns on some of these guys.
Oh yeah.
So the flange that came with the belt drive box that we got from Russia uses this guy right here. And you said that that's a Rotex
Rotex.
aircraft style
Yes.
flange. Yeah, we were a little confused how to get this all to work, because when the neighbor came by, he dropped us off something that looked like this. And we're like, how are we gonna make that adapt to what we had on there? But I guess that's just different style. And then what we got was a much older style blade that you guys don't even do anymore.
Right. Yeah, we don't even really make that blade.
So I brought my piece over, and we found that it goes right up to that guy.
Yep.
And that
Direct
one's
bolt up.
and that one's configured for a 4-blade, right? Which
Yep.
would be the same as the one you guys made for
Yep,
us.
it's exactly the same, 71 inches. I've shown you that out there, the other blocks, the race blocks, this is a standard block. And you go like that and have 4 sets of them, and it'll hold the blade in there, and real compact and super light in comparison to what you were gonna put on there.
I'm
This
sure the
whole
motor
prop-
will like that a lot more.
Oh yeah, this whole prop probably weighs what that hub weighed. So you'll save a considerable amount of weight too. So
A lot less rotating mass
Yep.
on there.
airboats love power to weight.
Hondas love power to weight too. That's why we're quick.
That's it. That is it.
So for the blade on our boat, we won't have one of these big old wide fancy blades, but we'll have the smaller, skinnier
Yep,
ones, correct?
a Vortex.
Kind of like you got, like the ones back here.
Yep.
The Vortex blades. Are these all the same pitch, or what's the difference in these blades
So,
right here?
some
I know
of
you
these-
adjust the pitch.
Right, but some of them are Vortexes, some of them are Sabres, some of them are left hand, some of them are right hand.
So depending on which way it rotates.
Right, so your belt drive turns left, gearbox turns right. So just if whichever one you have is what we'll get you. So since you have a belt drive, you get a Vortex.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, guys, we're gonna be running 4 of those guys
Yep.
on the flange just like that. Get our airboat up and going.
Yep, put some degrees in her and let her eat.
Dude, this one, I didn't see this one last time I was here. Look
Oh
at
yeah,
that.
that's got a candy on it.
That's big. I feel like I can't even touch that. That is fancy. That one is sick. The pattern on this one.
Yeah, we
Got
do
some
all these different
pretty trick blades in here.
for every model. We can do this on any of them. So we have the different patterns. And this has a candy on it to make it look like that.
You know, some guy with a baller airboat has those blades on.
Oh yeah.
That's sick.
And these guys, they got 10 blade props like this on a big counter rotator. He has 2,500 horsepower big block Nelson motor on his airboat.
They'll put as many as 10 that
He
size
has
on a
10 of
single.
them. He has
Holy
10 of them
crap.
on his boat on a counter rotator.
We're over here with our little dinky blades.
Yeah, your boat will probably be faster than his boat will be.
Yeah, just because it's so tiny.
Yep.
All right, guys, we got our blade all loaded up here in the NSX, ready to go. And can't thank these guys enough. That was quite the coincidence that you guys just happened to watch the channel.
Hey, it's crazy how things work out, you know?
Yeah, and you guys are like 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known sooner. We were trying to figure out what are we gonna do for a prop and calling all these people.
Yeah. You know, and like you said, you know, what your neighbor gave you to try to work it, I know it was like two different things. You're like, there's no way I can make this go on to here. And, you know, like you said, we have a prop flange that bolts right to it. So you're basically plug and play.
Yeah,
So,
no, it couldn't have worked out better.
Yep.
That's awesome. So
So-
if y'all need some propellers, Cincinnati, they're right here, Plant City, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, what you think of the NSX?
I love the NSX. Definitely need to get a ride in it one of these days,
Oh, I got you.
for sure.
Let you feel it. So Terry was telling me last time I was here that he has a little Volkswagen Bug that he did a Audi TT swap in, all-wheel drive.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
In the
It's like a
works.
newer Bug too.
Yeah, it's a
completely
it's a
sleeper.
02. Yeah, so it should. I don't know how the sleeper's gonna look once I get all the aero and stuff on it. It may look the part, but
They'll probably see it, be like, oh, that's just some guy with a body kit on a Bug, but
he's got
then they'll
too much
get
stuff on
dusted
there.
by it.
Yeah, yeah. Once that all-wheel drive kicks in, they'll be like, "Dang, what
They'll be
happened?"
like, oh shoot. Yeah, I definitely want to see that thing when you get it going. So let me
Yeah.
know. I'll come back by.
For sure.
And then yeah, if you ever want to come out with us once we get this hoopty
Oh, yeah,
of an airboat
definitely,
up and
man.
going.
We'll go out and go to the lake, and I'll show you around places that people have never seen before, and it's a good time. So
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
yeah, awesome, man. We'll see you then.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Till
Take it
next
easy.
time.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that looks sketchy.
Put a lift kit in this thing and actually have it sit that high in the boat.
Yeah, let's
Just to
just
be that
let's
guy.
just extend the rigging down to make it that high up.
I'm so down. All the way down here. That would be sick.
Oh my
It would flip
gosh.
over so easy.
So yeah, having a car lift definitely comes in handy for lifting the rigging up as a complete assembly, because once the engine's on there, we can't lift it back into the boat like we did taking it off. So luckily our arms reach far enough. Shout out Benpack. You can lift your airboat with your lift, and we'll just slide the hull right under.
Need to blur this out. Not OSHA approved. Sure. Drop it in.
All right, guys, just got back with our new blade.
Dude, those things
Check
are
that
so
out.
freaking finger chopper 9000.
So, dude, this is so sick. So these are a little bit smaller than the old blades. As you can tell, this propeller is going to be a lot lighter than what we were going to try to make work on it. He said that this blade will probably weigh as much as our old hub alone was going to be. So we'll have way less rotating mass. This thing will be way snappier, more responsive. And he said all around just a way better prop. So we got this guy right here and 3 others to go along with it, making it a 4-blade propeller. So huge shout out from the guys over at Cincinnati, because yeah, that was freaking sick, dude. So crazy how that worked out. You
Yeah.
know, never know what kind of people you're gonna run into. We thought we were just gonna be over here K-swapping an airboat, and we're already making a whole bunch of new friends. There she is.
Dude, this thing's a unit.
Look at that, boys. That is so sick.
Say something real messed up. Can't wait to throw something through this.
No throwing stuff. Our original plan was to get some crappy prop and just like throw fruit and stuff through it, watch it cut stuff up and be a little reckless. But this is a very nice blade, and we probably should be a little safer than that, you know. This is a little serious. We can't be too dumb with it, because when this thing starts up, you don't want to be anywhere near this thing if something were to come apart, or you know, we just can't be dumb with it, because there is a serious risk. If something comes apart, you get your hand in there, it's gone. So we are aware of the dangers here. No tomfoolery. Yeah, no tomfoolery with this one. But yeah, that came out freaking sick. All right, guys, the propeller is on. That is awesome.
It's definitely taking someone's hand.
Yeah, no hands inside of there when it is running. We do not need those problems. Looks like it does need to come back a tiny bit, but we'll address that later. We're gonna try to get this as far back in the cage as we can, because the guys at Cincinnati said that you want the blade as far back in the boat as possible, because the more forward it is, it starts to drive the nose of the boat down, and we're probably gonna have to adjust the engine a little bit. So we're probably going to have to shim under here and tilt it forward just slightly. They said you want to start with the blade basically 90 degrees to the bottom of the hull and kind of go from there. And even though she's not the best hull, we want it to work as best as we can with this setup. But that's it, boys. We officially K-swapped an Airboat, and here she is. I was waiting to make this all one video, get it fired up and running, but so much has happened already to get to this point that I think you guys will appreciate the amount of progress made on this thing. It's already K-swapped. We got the propeller on there. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you later. Bye.